I did want to discuss something that I've been talking about recently in my channel and with Augusta, and that is about diversification. And the question I want to kind of pose to you, Jonathan, to get things kicked off is, when should a small business owner invest outside their business? And whether it be real estate, or the stock market, index funds, even a 401k, if they put that for their team and then they start investing into it. And what is sort of the balance between diversification versus the ideology like, hey, I put all the eggs in one basket and then I protect the basket? And where do you stand on? Is there a tipping point in terms of profitability or tax? What is sort of your way to identify when is the right time to diversify and invest outside the business?
Yeah, it's definitely a personal thing. And I don't think there's a tipping point based on tax. I wouldn't want to try to keep my income under any certain level or anything like that. The way it's going to come down to, in my opinion, what does the owner want? They got to get clear on what do they want. And the principle that I really believe in is that most of us, we're really going to create all of our wealth by concentrating on the business we have or concentrating on building a business. And so that's how you get wealthy. You're going to get way wealthier doing that if this is what you're going for than investing in other things. And you do the investing more to diversify, which is for protection. Like that's the high level of how I think about. It's how I think about my life. Create the vast majority of my wealth is created through business. And then I take money off the table and then I grow that money slower than I would grow it in the business, but I have it spread across lots of different places. So hopefully it's pretty safe and it lasts forever, that kind of a concept. And so for the owner, I think they have to understand what is the goal they're going for. Am I building a big business? Am I building a small business? Because that really dictates when you start taking money out of the business. And then I think you have to be pretty clear on what phase of the business you're in. And so there's a lot of things we can talk through here. And one I would start with that I really observed over the Service Autopilot Academy days is that a lot of people will say, I'm investing in my business. And they haven't really been taking money out of their business for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever that number is. And they're just like, yeah, I'm growing my business. I'm investing in my business. But they're running $1 million business, or it's not, whatever the number is, it's just not that big of a business. And so the one thing that I want to be really clear on is if you say to yourself, I'm investing in my business, that's why I'm not taking any money out of the business, then my question is, okay, how much money did we spend on marketing last year to grow the business? That's investing in the business. How many people did we hire a little before we needed them because we knew we were going to be growing pretty quick because of all the marketing we've been doing. So I got to get the people in place to handle the phone calls, to do the work, except to manage the people. So you're wasting some amount of money in preparation for when all the work comes in. That's investing in the business. You're buying new trucks and equipment before they're at full capacity. That's investing in the business. So, and there's other ways to invest in the business, but if you just think about like how much money of your profit last year is being dumped back in to go faster this year, how many people are being hired? And if those numbers are small, then I'd say, are we really investing in the business, or are we telling ourselves a story that makes us feel good about the fact we're not really taking much money out of the business or making that much money? And that is usually what I see. Most people say I'm investing in the business, and I'm like, that's not what I'm seeing. That is so common. So I wanted to really put that out there. And for anybody that says, I'm in the investing phase, I'm not in the extracting phase, I want you to challenge yourself and say, but are you really growing quickly? And are you doing the things I just said? That's investing. Okay, so let's just say you are investing in the business and you're kind of to this place where you're starting to build up money. So we'll kind of go down that road. Before I ever invest anywhere else, and I know you've talked about this, I've talked about this as long as I can remember, it's this idea of building an emergency fund in the bank business. So before I'm taking money and I'm putting it anywhere else, an office building, real estate, or same thing, stock market, anything, have I set aside money to protect the business? Because to your point, protect the basket, build the thing, protect it. Well, part of protecting it in my mind is having a pile of cash sitting aside to protect the business. Another version of that is taking some amount of money out of the business and having an emergency fund in your own life, because so many people have a good business, but then they do things in their personal life or bad things happen to them in their personal life, and that drives business decisions. It can harm the business. So I want a business emergency fund. I want a personal emergency fund. So that's like next, in my opinion. And then even before I start taking money out of the business, my question to myself is, if I could deploy this money via marketing back into the business, if I could invest $10,000 and grow the business by $50,000, which produces hypothetically another $10,000 in profit. So it's 100% return on money. I invest $10,000, I make an extra $10,000 take home a year. That's 100% return on money. It's going to take you 7 years to get that in the market if averages hold up or whatever the number is. It doesn't make any sense to put the money in the stock market. It doesn't make any sense to put the money in real estate. It makes sense to just keep putting in the money or putting the money into the business. So that's the big litmus test, is to myself, can I invest more money in this business in the ways I talked about, spending money, hiring people, buying trucks and equipment, and get that kind of a return? And as that return diminishes, as I start to realize, no, I can't really move the needle by putting more money in the business because I'm not doing the marketing. I'm not ready to do the marketing or whatever the story is. If you're to that place that you're not going to get a return, then we start to say, okay, what outside the business makes sense? And then I think when you get to that level, the no-brainer is you should be investing in a Roth IRA. It's just a no-brainer. It's one of the first places you take money, set it aside. And then after that, I tend to prefer liquid investments. So liquid investments are going to be, money market's barely an investment. It's essentially cash, but money markets, bonds, stock market, things of that sort. Liquid just simply means I could get the money back almost immediately. Like you could even invest in gold if you invest with the gold ETF, GLDM or something like that. You could sell that in an hour. You could sell it in 30 minutes and get your money. So that's, even though gold, physical gold is not liquid, but gold as an ETF is liquid. So that's what I'm referring to when I say liquid. Just you have the ability to sell it and get it fast, because if something really bad happens in your personal or business life, there's this element of protection. So I tend to like liquid investments. And then once you have all the other stuff taken care of, I can't find places to invest it for my business to go way faster. I've got plenty of money in the bank personally and in business to protect the most important thing, my business asset. I'm funding my Roth IRA. That's when you might think about locking up money. So locking up money would be, the most common example everybody thinks about is real estate. And the reason that you lock up money is there's only one reason you do it, because you can get a better return on the money locking it up versus not. Like a lot of investments where you have to lock up money don't actually outperform the stock market over a long period of time. That's a bad trade. But if it's a legitimate investment where it can outperform liquid investments, hopefully I'm making sense, then that's when you start to think, when you have everything else taken care of, that's when you think about those things, and you do those things to get a better return. So for some people, that might be buying an office for the company. And on the office front, I tend to be negative on an office if you're going really big with your business. I tend to be fine with an office, just my personal opinion, if you're not going very big with the business. The reason I tend to say wait as long as you can on an office is because if you're really it's money will never get the same return as investing in your business. And a lot of people buy what they can afford for an office. And as soon as that business gets bigger, that becomes the constraint. And then what do? And so once you get big and you can really understand how fast the business is growing, and you understand all the details of your business, and you have a bunch of money, you can buy a business or an office that's maybe 3 times bigger than what you need in the long term. It's that kind of thinking. So that tends to be the hierarchy that I think about it. So the quick summary would be, you have to understand, what kind of business am I building? And am I trying to go big? And if I'm trying to go bigger, then can I continue to invest in this business and get a good return on the money I'm putting into the business?
If you've built a $1 million home service business, but you're struggling to get to the next level at $10 million in annual revenue, I've created a private community just for you. It's called Home Service Boardroom, because what got you to $1 million is all the work, the hustle, the grind, figuring out your leads, your website. But what gets you from $1 million to $10 million is learning the skill of leadership. finding other great talent and managers to work for you. If that's of interest, go check out mikegandy.com/school or see the link in the description.